Hey y'all, it's me Tiffany and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you're here, I mostly do books, manga, graphic novels, occasionally a movie or a television show. This is the first time I've ever done a top-down video, a writing video, or any type of journaling, so bear with me. So the Clockwork Reader reading journal came out at the end of last year. So I pre-ordered it and I was going to use it through 2022. I've never used a traditional reading journal. I've always just used spreadsheet. But I thought it would be fun to use this journal, and I plan on using this journal through a few videos because there are prompts and stuff. And to be honest, I really do like a Clockwork Reader's reading channel. There was a prompt I want to do called the childhood favorites. There's only a list for 6 of these. I am not going to rate them because I can't remember my exact thoughts as a child. The first series is a series I really don't feel like talking too much about on my YouTube channel, but I felt like it would be disingenuous and dishonest to pretend Harry Potter was not influential in my life, especially my childhood. The way I approach her, and I know I've mentioned before I don't like to mention her because I want to have a safe space for trans people who may come across my videos. I do not agree with J.K. Rowling. I know there's arguments about separating the art from the artist. I think that's fine kind of in private, especially if you already own the book. I'm never going to give J.K. Rowling a fresh dollar, but I don't want to get rid of stuff I've already owned. I've already consumed the content, things like that. And, that's just is what it is. I just want to be honest, but I'm not going to give her hype or give her fresh dollars. Artemis Fowl. So I read this series, I think, in the 5th and 6th grade. I own the first 3 and I read them twice, and I ended up reading up to 5 whenever they came out, but I particularly remember the first 3 because I read it the most. I enjoyed it. I reread the first book as an adult a year or 2 ago. I can't remember which year. It didn't live up to what was in my head for the book, and I just felt like I don't want to ruin the series for myself, so I'm not going to reread it. But yeah, I really love Artemis Fowl a lot, and I thought the Netflix movie was awful. Okay, so Kira. This is a middle grade book, and it handles very tough topics, and when I was a kid, I thought it was really cool that there were foreign words in general in this book, and it was the first book I think I read that I knew that it had something besides English in it. And the reason why I read this, I think, was because my 6th grade teacher put it in her reading bin, because we did these activities every day and we picked a book, and I liked the 2 chapters I got through. So I went and asked my grandmother for it. This book is really heartbreaking, and I really want to reread this as an adult. I just haven't gotten around to it. Okay, so Chinese Cinderella. This was a memoir, and I read this in the 5th grade, I think, maybe the 6th. When I went back and looked on Goodreads reviews as an adult, a lot of people call her whiny. From what I remember, I definitely don't think she was. I remember directly there was animal abuse, particularly towards her pet because of her stepmother, and she wasn't treated right. So when I was like a kid, and even as a teenager, I was really drawn to different family structures that weren't like the nuclear family, which means a mom, a dad, and 2.5 kids, especially if they weren't raised by their biological parent, because I wasn't raised by my biological parents, but I really like stories that didn't have the biological parents and had a drastically different life than what I had, whether it was a lot better or a lot worse, either way. But I do want to reread that eventually. I remember it being a short book. I let somebody borrow it and never got it back, so... Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I read whatever was available my 5th and 6th grade year. I think it was just the original 3 books. I think there's a 4th book. I've always been intrigued by traveling, so the fact that they all went to different places, I just thought was the coolest thing on the planet, and I just thought the books were fun. I loved also like female friendship groups, and I think it'd be fun to reread these, but it's definitely not on a high priority list. But when I see it, I'm just like, man, wouldn't it be fun to relive that? So the last one I want to talk about is Sailor Moon. This is a manga. I have read this manga series multiple times. I read the scans that came. I don't know if they were fan translations or they came from the Tokyo Pop edition, because I never got to actually own the Tokyo Pop edition as a kid. I own this edition of the manga now, and I've read those all the way through twice, but I know I read the scans about 3 times. The editions I have are way better than the Tokyo Pop ones, but the artwork on those covers were gorgeous. So guys, that is 6 books I read as a kid between the ages of like 9 and 12, just because those are the best ones I could remember and I could reflect on more. I'll see you later, guys. Bye!